Okay. All right. Happy balloons. Welcome to Twitchell Brook Farm. We're rolling with the flow. Today, I'm gonna field a question I had from someone sent in. They were trying to buy a choke from me, and they said, "Hey, I can't figure out." Look at that gun smoke. Well, that's one way to do it. Can't figure out what kind of choke I have. I just bought a gun. It needs a choke. There's no choke in it. And this happens more than you might think, and more than you might realize. It can happen to anyone pretty easily. Most commonly, you go to the, what the heck? Let's see if we can get this out. You go to the used shotgun rack at your local gun shop, and they've got a real bargain piece there. And before you go, the shopkeeper says, "Oh, wait, that one needs a choke." And quite obviously, what you want to try to do is find the choke type either on the barrel or on the receiver somewhere, and it should say what your choke is. This one, for example, this we know is a Remchoke, a Remington choke, which looks like that. It's got the threads at the bottom, but it doesn't really say anything on the barrel. So you say, well, how do we know what kind of choke we have? One of the things you can do is, if you are a member of a range or club, trap club or ski club, you can take it there, and chances are you've got an expert who knows what it is, and they have the same gun or have seen the same gun and can maybe help you figure it out. Another thing you can do is check in the barrel itself, and you want to see, do I indeed have threads for a choke? And here with the Remchoke, it's a little ways in, and you can feel it. You can feel the threads in there. Now you're deciding between choke where the threads are recessed, or if the chokes are right at the muzzle. Very common, I don't know if you can see that. Let's bring that right in there. Very common is the Benelli Beretta MobilChoke, and that's easily the most common choke with the threads at the muzzle end of the barrel. It's pretty easy to identify. So with that, you can kind of go, maybe go on eBay or go to your gun shop or borrow from someone in your club who has that choke and see if it fits, test it out. Use something like a orange pick or a popsicle stick, something to test and see, is that choke meeting? Is there just a seam? You don't want a gap, you don't want an overlap, anything like that. You do want to check when you have an unknown shotgun. You want to see, is there any chance that it was threaded for a choke? And what can happen, the way that can happen is, this is what's called a Briley choke. This is an aftermarket choke system. Very popular, very common, very successful, very good quality chokes. And what you do there is you send your barrel away, and they're going to machine it and put in this thin wall choke, and they usually identify it in some way. But other times that can happen, and you're not going to know who machined it, what they threaded it with, how it's done, and you're kind of at a loss for what type of choke it is. When that happens, you have a couple of options. One is you put the barrel aside, buy a new barrel for your gun, and you're good to go. Another option is to use the barrel without a choke. In that case, you're kind of writing it off as a barnyard barrel. You're going to use it to shoot at tanks and old vehicles and other targets that you're just hacking around and having fun with. Basically, then you have a cylinder choke. You're not going to do any precision shooting with it. You're not going to win any competitions at the range, and you're not going after any sort of important game. And eventually, the shot will score the threads and ruin the barrel for future chokes. But again, you can still use it for just about any kind of hacking around your private range or whatever the case is. But either way, it's good fun. We'll see you on the range. I think I'm going to go have a beer. Well, we had to get out of the heat outside. I thought I was going to melt out there, but anyway, time for a beer, and we've got a mystery selection from the beer fridge, which, by the way, I definitely do not know what beer is coming out. I know what's in there. We got anywhere from 50 to 70 different types of beer at any one time. So I know what we have, but I don't know for sure. I have no idea what's in this box and in this glass. So let's find out. A little older. It's got an interesting, it's some sort of hoppy thing. It's got a fruity, I want to say it's mellowed a little bit, whatever it is. I cannot tell. I have no idea. It's drinkable. It's good beer. I'm okay with it. And we have, oh my, I would not have expected this. This is from Rogue, which I think is Washington State, Oregon. Where is this? Yeah, Newport, Oregon. Yes, it's Oregon for the Rogue River. This is Batsquatch Hazy India Pale Ale. It's got kind of a bizarre illustration on the cover. I don't really know anything about this. It's a 6.7. It's a good, I'm reading the side. It says to have this with white cheddar grilled salmon and strawberry shortcake. But okay, I've had Rogue beer before. I have not had this one, and I have to say it's pretty good. I do want to remind you that whenever you saw me earlier in the video, putting my finger in the barrel to feel for the threads, for the choke, remember that barrel was detached from the gun. So it was as if I was playing with a tomato steak. So absolutely no danger inherent to it at all unless I whack myself on the head with the thing. Keep that in mind when you're checking out your shotgun, doing things with it. It's real easy just to take the gun and check things out, but always err on the side of caution because it can be explosive if you don't. We'll see you again soon here by the Androscoggin River, Twitchell Brook Farm, rolling with the flow. Cheers.